got a new sheriff in town.
City Council meeting of Cartersville are now in session. Let us stand, please, for the invocation and pledge.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Drake, roll call.
Carrie Hodge, Ward 1. Here. Jay Stepp, Ward 2.
Here.
Harry Roth, Ward 3.
Here.
Calvin Cooley, Ward 4.
Here.
Gary Fox, Ward 5.
Here.
Alyssa Cordell, Ward 6. Here.
Okay, Council, you've had the minutes in your possession. Is there any questions? Discussion? If not, can I get a motion?
Motion to approve. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Unusual. Now we'll have our monthly financial report.
Probably.
We wouldn't know if you're gonna run out of here.
We're
after
debating how fast you're gonna get
I'm
out
gonna
of this
wait.
report is done.
I'm Mayor Pro Tem and Council. We'll be looking tonight at the March 2024 compared to March 2023 numbers. The revenues for the general fund increased over last year by $19.2 million. This is due to the sale of the land of the
175.
land sale.
Yes, from the Highland 75 Industrial.
Thank
Park.
you. Expenses increased over last year by $4.1 million. Areas of revenue I look at in the general fund on a monthly basis. Local option sales tax increased there about $778,000. Building permits and inspection fees increased there of about $39,000. The water and sewer fund revenues increased over last year by $602,000. Expenses increased by $12.1 million. This is due to increased personnel expenses, increased operating expenses, decreased debt service expenses, increased capital expenses, and increases to the transfers in the general fund. In the gas fund, revenues decreased over last year by $11.2 million. Expenses decreased by $10.6 million. This is due to increased personnel expenses, increased operating expenses, decreased cost of purchased gas, decreased capital expenses, decreased debt service expenses, and increases in transfers to the general fund. In the electric fund, revenues increased over last year by $3.1 million. Expenses increased by $2.3 million due to decreased personnel expenses, increased operating costs, increased cost of purchased electricity, increased capital expenses, and increases to the transfers to the general fund. In the stormwater fund, revenues increased over last year by $146,000. Expenses decreased by $25,000. This is due to decreased personnel expenses, decreased operating expenses, and increased capital expenses. Solid waste fund revenues increased over last March by $246,000, and expenses increased by $79,000 due to decreased personnel expenses, increased operating expenses, and increased capital expenses. And finally, in the fiber optics fund, revenues decreased over last year by $951,000. Expenses increased by $46,000 due to increased personnel expenses, increased operating expenses, decreased debt service expenses, decreased capital expenses, and increased transfers to the general fund. In our cash position for the month of month of March, the total unrestricted cash decreased. Total restricted cash also decreased. SPOS fund balances 2014 SPOS $231,991.10. SPOS 2020 account $11,409,512.91.
Are there any questions or discussion? Then you may stay for the remainder of council meeting.
Thank you.
We're dismissed. Thank you for a final report.
You can stay.
Yes.
Okay, we got some appointments here for Alcohol Control Board.
Yes, thank you, Mayor and Council. The terms of two of our Alcohol Control Board members are expiring. That'd be the Ward 1 appointment, Patty Rogers, and the Ward 3 appointment, Dan Hallman. They're both willing to continue to serve if reappointed, and if reappointed, their terms would be extended to June 5th, 2028. Your approval is recommended.
Any discussion? If not, there's a motion on the floor.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Next one,
The next one's Board of Zoning Appeals. We have two board members whose terms are going to expire. The first one being Lamar Penley. He's the mayor's appointment. That's only a 2-year appointment that goes concurrently with his term. He is willing to continue to serve if reappointed, and his term will go through June 2026. And the Ward 2 appointment, J.B. Hudson on the Board of Zoning Appeals, that term, if reappointed, would be extended to June 2028. Your approval is recommended.
any discussion? If not, there's a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Now we come to some public hearings, first reading of,
And Mayor Pro Tem, the procedure will be you will have a public hearing on the zoning first, then you'll have a public hearing on the annexation, and then you'll vote on the annexation. And, oh, this is first
this is
reading,
first
I'm
reading,
sorry.
yeah.
Yeah, and then you'll have the first reading on the annexation and first reading on the zoning.
okay.
And all comments made during the zoning public hearing will be carried forward to the annexation public hearing, so you don't have to hear them twice.
That's enough.
Yes, that's enough.
Okay, carry on.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. As you had noted, this is AZ 2402. It's a proposed annexation and rezoning of approximately 34 acres. The rezoning portion of it would be to the Technology District. For the record, the property has been properly posted and advertised. There appears to be no conflicts of interest, and it was evaluated based on the standards for exercise of zoning powers adopted by the city. With that, if you recall, back last year, Switch came through to rezone approximately 1,900 acres for a data center campus. With that, we went through a long public hearing process, several meetings, and several changes in conditions and so forth, and finally it did actually go through proposed development again for the data center. Construction has started on phase 1. They are working with that. This proposed annexation is to add 4 additional parcels, like I mentioned before, approximately 34 acres to what they already have out there. It's a piece that's pretty much surrounded by the data center already. They worked an agreement out to get this property as part of that, and they would like to incorporate it as part of the Technology Center. Planning Commission did approve this proposed rezoning, or annexation and proposed rezoning, and it did include conditions that reflect the previously approved conditions on the prior approval for the Switch campus.
Okay. Where we go, Keith?
Public hearing on the zoning.
Now, the floor is open for a public hearing on the zoning.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Brandon Bowen, 15 South Public Square. I represent Switch. I was here with you last fall when we brought this through. As Mr. Menino told you, we filed an annexation and rezoning application to bring a few more lots in. If I could walk over here towards the board, I could probably explain a little better what we're looking at. So obviously these are the properties, the 4 properties that represent 3 landowners, 3 homes. This is Switch property here, this is Switch property here, this is what you've already rezoned for the Technology District for Switch. So there is a road, the way these people get to their houses is a road that comes into Switch's property, goes back out, then it comes back in. And what Switch wishes to do, and what they have negotiated with these homeowners, is to buy those properties so that they can close the road going in the middle of easement, whatever it is, going through the middle of the property. And so what we have asked is that those properties be annexed and added and rezoned with the same T district and be subject to the same conditions that we worked out with you all last fall applied to those properties. There is a homeowner that to the right of those blue-lined properties that uses that road as well, and we are working with him cooperatively to address his concerns. His impact or his access will not be negatively impacted. So that's really about all I have to say about this. The county has reviewed it and showed no objection to the annexation, and so we'd ask that you approve it at your next meeting, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Any questions, Mr. Bowman?
Are they changing the annex road then? Will they change the annex, the road that gives them
Well, it's
the
kind of like,
access road rather?
it's a logging road.
Okay.
After access to this property, it will be closed, right? Access would remain here. Carl Luches is actually working with this property owner to change it so that it's better for both of us. But that will be done cooperatively.
Okay.
Any more discussion? So, that part of the zoning is closed. Now we open up for annexation.
Public hearing for the annexation.
Public hearing for
yes.
annexation.
And just incorporate all the previous comments.
Incorporating all the previous comments in item first discussion. Seeing there's none, we'll table this to the next.
We'll close the public
We
hearing.
close the public hearing and close this item for the next council meeting.
Well, we'll have the first reading. You'll call the first reading on the annexation, and then call the first reading on the zoning. And then you move to the next item on the agenda.
So moved. Anybody else?
All right.
I agree. So we'll move on to the next item.
Are we gonna be legally okay?
Yeah, we're fine. Brandon's not going to check.
Thank you.
That's pretty good.
We're down to resolutions.
We,
Airport Authority.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem and Council. We're requesting that Hans Luchens, who's currently the Airport Authority Chairman, continue to serve in that capacity. He is the city appointee to the Airport Authority. If approved, his new term would expire on June 19th of 2028.
Is there any discussion? If not, there's a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you.
Creation of a zoning festival.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. We'd like to request the creation of 2 festival zones for upcoming events that have been added since the last request. We have an Art and Bartow ribbon cutting for the gallery under the bridge on June 3rd, and then on July 13th, a fundraising event for Helping Hands for Bartow Kids is a back-to-school fundraiser.
Any discussion? If not, there's a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you. Surplus equipment.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem and Council. This is a request. We have several items from city departments that have been deemed surplus equipment. We're asking for approval to sell those items on Gov Deals.
Discussion? If not, there's a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you.
Contract agreements. MOU.
Yes, sir. This is our annual memorandum of understanding with the Department of Community Affairs, which oversees the Georgia Main Street program. This is just agreeing to another year of our accreditation within the program. This will be our 36th year.
Discussion? If not, there's a motion.
Make a
Motion to approve.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion
Thank you.
carried. Thank you. Watershed protection and planning.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor, Pro Tem, Council. This item is as a condition of the NPDES discharge permit for our wastewater treatment plant. We're required to have a watershed protection plan in place, which requires stream sampling, data analysis, and regulatory reporting. Rent Engineering Environmental has handled that for us since the inception of this program. They're proposing a cost this year for this program for $59,500, which is exactly the same cost as last year. I recommend it for your approval. It is a budgeted item.
Discussion? If not, there's a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Easement, Bernick Road.
Yes, sir. This item is for 1.31 acres of permanent easement, 1.89 acres of temporary construction easement as part of the West Side feeder main project along Nancy Creek and Burnt Hickory Road to allow a 36-inch water main to go through that area. The owner has accepted the city's offer of $12,396 for this easement. It is a budgeted expense recommended for your approval.
Discussions? If not, there's a motion on the floor.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Waterford sewer location.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. This is a relocation of 787 feet of 36-inch sewer along a ditch in the Waterford subdivision. It has an aerial crossing, which is a environmental liability for the city, if you will. We opened bids. The low bidder the low bidder was HD Excavations Utilities for $729,320.60. This is a budgeted item, and I recommend it for your approval.
Discussion? If not, the motion's on the floor.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Minosa Chestnut Water Plan.
Yes, so this is a water main replacement project in the Chestnut Street, Mimosa Drive, Wildwood Drive, I believe also, for about 3,600 linear feet of 2-inch galvanized pipe with 6 and 8-inch ductile iron pipe, and also will add fire hydrants, adequate fire protection in that area as well. The low bidder was Utility and Water Services for $938,383. This is a budgeted expense. I recommend it for your approval.
Discussion? If not, there's a motion on the floor.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you.
Mailing Center Building.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem and Council. This is a request to replace the billing machine that is located down in customer services. It is at the end of its usable life. We're asking for a replacement in the amount of $21,192.58 to the vendor Pitney Bowes. We're asking your approval to replace this machine.
Discussions? If not, there's a motion.
Motion to approve.
Thanks.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Item 15 is also the inserting machine. Mr.
Carry
Mayor
on.
Pro Tem. Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you. It's the inserting machine, and it is, again, it is usable at the end of its usable life. And we're requesting to replace that with a machine with Pitney Bowes in the amount of $18,867.40.
Discussions? If not, there's a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you.
Fortinet Fiber Switch.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem and Council. This item is the request for a purchase of 2 Fortinet fiber optic network switches. These switches will be used to physically separate the internal city network from the Fibercom customer network. This will help with security and network design. Non-budgeted, but we have 2020 SPLOS funds available. $21,700 from Blue Ally, and we recommend this for your approval.
Discussions? If not, there's a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Compact excavator purchase.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem Council. Stormwater Division is in need of a compact excavator, a larger compact excavator in order to pick up larger concrete pipes that we deal with, as well as concrete blocks, yet still work within some of the smaller confines that areas that we do work in. We demoed a Bobcat E88 R2 series compact excavator. And this will do the job that we need, and we received a Sourcewell price from Reinhardt Equipment in Rome for a price of $114,304.12. This excavator will be available and be delivered upon approval of the purchase. This is not a budgeted item, though it will be purchased utilizing available stormwater, capital project funds. Public Works recommends approval to purchase this compact excavator from Reinhardt Equipment.
Discussions? There's a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank
Carry
you. All right, next item we have is garbage cart purchase. We are in need of a few more garbage carts for the end of the year. We priced these out. We have 200 recycling carts and 624 brown carts. Best price that we received and the preferred product is from Toter LLC for a price of $44,280. This is a budget item, and Public Works recommends approval to purchase these garbage carts.
I just have one question. The blue cart, is that the same size as the gray
They,
brown?
they are now.
Okay.
Yeah, we used to have smaller ones, but now we, in order to, we had a request for more people to have the larger ones. So,
Much needed.
yep.
Any discussion? If not, there's a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank
Carry
you.
on.
All right, the next item is the purchase of commercial dumpsters. We have received 3 quotes for various types of 8-yard dumpsters. The lowest price that we received was from Lewis Steelworks from Wren, Georgia, in the amount of $27,175. This is a budgeted item, and Public Works recommends approval of these dumpsters from Lewis Steelworks.
Discussions? If not, there's a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Carry on.
Thank you. Our next item is the repair of our automated side loader garbage truck. It has is in need of repair, and our garage has indicated it needs a new transmission. We have got a price from Nextran and Kennesaw to do the repair. The combined cost between other services and Nextran will be $23,555.70. These fees will be paid out of our solid waste maintenance of vehicle and equipment budget, and we recommend approval of this.
Discussions? Now there's a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you. All right, next item is Terrell Heights Phase 2. We have packaged all this together, put it out for bid. We came back with extremely high prices. We determined that we should do Phase 1 of this project in-house, which we are currently working on now. The Phase 2 was bid out due to the complexity of the project, and we actually got very competitive bids this time. On April 26th, we opened the bids. The lowest overall bidder for the base project and the add-ons was HD Excavation and Utilities from Villa Rica, Georgia, at a price of $1,511,550. Our design engineers, Barge, has reviewed all the bid documents and recommends issuing a notice of award and entering into contract with HD Excavations and Utilities. I need to at this point out that Public Works will utilize the ARPA funds for this project. And to qualify for these funds, we feel that this project would help our stormwater divisions manage, reduce, and recapture stormwater drainage that will result in reducing flooding at this location. And therefore, based on that, this project would meet the requirements and eligibility of ARPA funds. The estimated, there's an estimated $309,360 of this bid will utilize water and sewer funds that are budgeted in FY 2025 by the Water and Sewer Department, while the remaining $1,202,190 will be funded through these ARPA funds. We recommend accepting this bid from HD Excavations and Utilities and allow the Mayor Pro Tem to sign the notice of award and the associated contracts provided by our design engineer.
Any discussions? If not, there's a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Carry on.
All right, and continuing on with the Terrell Heights Phase 2, our engineers, Bards Design, has given us a proposal to do construction services that will include such items as coordination, meetings, status reports, pay applications, site visits, inspections, and technical reviews for a proposed amount and compensation of $48,500. Because this project is eligible for ARPA funding, we would recommend approval of this amendment to their original contract for this amount, and we will utilize ARPA funds for that.
You need to read your full statement again.
Do I need to? Okay, I will do that. This project is determined that would qualify ARPA funds because the city feels the project would help our stormwater division manage, reduce, and recapture stormwater drainage that would result in reduced flooding at this location. Therefore, this project meets the requirements and eligibility of ARPA funds. I need to get a fast forward version of that and read it every time we spend these monies.
Any questions? If there's a motion on the floor.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Very good. Item number 23, letter of intent for multi-judicial hazard mitigation plan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. Council members, I bring for you tonight a letter of intent that the county has requested for us to sign. The county maintains a multi-jurisdictional hazard mitigation plan. This particular plan is something that we review periodically, and within this we itemize potential projects that we would actually use within our community to help reduce damage during a case of a disaster, storm mitigation, tornado warning sirens, these kind of things. We're preparing to go through and redo this particular plan again. The county has applied for a grant to fund the construction of this particular grant. In that, I'm asking you to consider support of a letter of intent that will show our support for this particular project. There is a cost share of any time that you do these kind of projects, but our cost share is actually an in-kind cost share of the labor hours of us doing our work to put together the particular plan. I have prepared for you a letter that's directed to Marcus Warren showing the support of the potential document, and I would ask your support and the authorization of our Mayor Pro Tem to execute that letter.
Discussions? If not, there's a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Carry on.
Yes, sir, thank you. Our firefighters, they wear a self-contained breathing apparatus. As y'all know, we call them the SCBAs. This is what they wear within any hazardous, toxic environment that they go in. On an annual basis, these breathing apparatuses, they have to be recertified, have to go through a maintenance protocol, checking air pressures and et cetera. I ask you tonight to approve this plan and also associated repairs of our fleet of SCBAs, total cost of $11,426.21. This is to Municipal Emergency Services, or MES, a single source provider for our SCBAs. This is a budgeted project.
Discussions? If not, there's a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Thank you.
Third.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Keith, you next.
Yes, Mayor Pro Tem, as y'all recall at a,
Don't we have to add 3 items?
oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah, there's a motion to add 3 items.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Motion carried. Now, it's your turn.
All right. Mayor Pro Tem, as y'all recall, at a previous meeting, we approved an anti-litem denial notice on an accident involving Ruth Kyle. They filed an amended notice, still recommended by staff for that claim to be denied, so I'm asking you to approve a resolution authorizing us to do so.
Discussion? Now, there's a motion on the floor.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Next item,
Yes, Mayor, this is for the approval of A&M Contracting Company to demolish the old fire station next door. Of course, the Historic Preservation Commission will meet next Tuesday to, I guess, get their authorization as well. But this has been something we've talked about for a new city hall over there. Cost of demolition and removing building is $95,000 and recommended for your approval.
discussions? Not, there's a motion.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you. And, item number 27,
Do what?
AWS.
Yes, sir. It's a request for the council to authorize the mayor, the city clerk, and a notary to sign the contract for reimbursement with GDOT. It is for our automated weather observing system at the airport and also our update to our DBE plan that's required. That reimbursement will be in the amount of $143,241.41. Again, we're requesting your approval for that, please.
Any discussions? Not, there's a motion.
Make a motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you. This concludes the presentations of the agenda. Is there any more discussions? You want to come forward?
Robert Ribello, Aquafil USA, 1 Aquafil Drive. Can I approach? I have a presentation to hand out.
Sure.
Sure.
Thank you. Sir, when you get back to the microphone, do you mind giving me your name and address again? I'm sorry. Robert. Uh-huh. Just an address, please.
I wanted to thank the council again for your time. I'll try to be brief. We've been in discussion with Dan on the issues of excessive power increases, and I thought it was prudent that we bring it to the city council. If you switch to page 2, you can look at our costs that we've seen. These are pre-tax charges that Aquafil USA has been paying year over year. So March 2020, we were paying 4.5 cents per kilowatt hour. March 2021, we were paying 4.8, so a 6.7% increase. March 2022, 5.4 cents per kilowatt hour, 12.5% increase. And we were expecting an increase. That was the pandemic. Power was short. We were expecting an increase. March 2023, when the market started to ease, we saw a decrease of 3.7%. Now in March 2024, we've gone up 28.9%. A total of 49% from March 2020 to March 2024. This is contrary to, so the increases are coming from the city of Cartersville Electric. It's contrary to the overall market and what we're seeing. The chart below is from MEAG. So MEAG is one of the suppliers of power to the city. In 2021, MEAG was charging 6.49 cents per kilowatt hour. In 2022, you'd expect an increase of, and it's at 7.2 cents per kilowatt hour. And then in 2023, this is 9 months in, so it's the September number, it had dropped down to 6.87%. And it's what we're seeing across the entire market, that power costs are dropping, yet we're still seeing increases here from the city of Cartersville. If you go to the next page, this is a government website that looks at the power charges across the entire industry and for different industries. And Aquafil USA is in the industrial part of the chart, so the middle of your chart there. And you can see for South Atlantic, the average power from 2023, industrials were paying 7.77 cents per kilowatt hour. Now in February 2024, it's decreased to 7.57 cents. If you look at the East South Central, so the areas around Alabama, 7.21 cents on average, down to 6.51 cents. If you look at Georgia, for the industrial rate, in February 2023, it was 6.9. In February 2024, it's 5.87. So it's a 15% decrease in overall average power cost, yet we're paying a 28% increase. The big driver that we're seeing is on our bill, there is a line item that is called the Future Construction Cost Rider, which is a tax. It's a tax on the entire bill. So in March 2020, that FCC, the Future Construction Cost Rider tax, was 13.4%. And it was about 10% of our bill, $27,000. In 2021, it was still 13.4%. In March 2022, it went up to 14.3%, and it was about $39,000, $40,000 of our bill. March 2023, it was around 20%. March 2024, it's been increased to 44.4%. So on our bill, our last bill in March, which was around $300,000, 1/3 of it is this tax. Now, we've met with this, we've had this issue before. The city has come to us back in the spring of 2022. They had an issue with the overall balancing of the budget, and they went up on the FCC rider back then, and we discussed it with them, and they made an adjustment to our overall power rates. So they asked us, Rob, we're going to make an adjustment. We'll give you time to review it, but it'll get everything in line. We accepted the adjustment, we moved forward, and then less than 2 years later, we're talking about the exact same thing, an out-of-control FCC charge. We also went, these rates are all public. We went to where our competitor is in Bristol, Virginia, and got their rates. And they're a large user like us. We use between 8 and 9 kilowatts into the facility. And we use their rates based upon what we could calculate. Our competitor's paying 5.5 cents per kilowatt hour non-peak and 6.1 cents per kilowatt hour peak. If you compare to what we're going to do in 2024 with the FCC being at it is, they'll be paying a 32% discount over the rates that we're paying here in Cartersville. So as you can see from the first page, we make a product that is mostly a commodity. It is based on nylon, additives, both commodities, and electricity, which is a commodity. So our customers, you know, we supply to the automotive industry, we supply to the carpet industry. They're well aware of where commodities move. If nylon moves up, they can expect prices to go up. If nylon moves down, they expect prices to go down. If additives move up, they expect prices to go up. If additives move down and they have access to all of these charts, prices will go down. The same for electricity. If they look at they do the research, they would expect to start to see decreasing prices, decreasing prices from us. And that's what we're seeing in the market. Our competitors are going down on price, yet we have to go down to match, and we're paying, and as you'll see, if we're running full, $1 million more a year in electrical costs. So if you go to the next page, and this is where, you know, we've been discussing with Dan to try to understand these costs, because the FCC rider, which is 44.4%, for the past 14 years is between 8 and 15%. And if you read the ordinance that's off the website from the Cartersville City website, it's the cost of financing for new distribution and generation. It's not any full cost, it's not the overall cost, it's just the cost of financing. Yet we're seeing a huge increase, up to $1 million in the cost of financing. The ECC rider, there's two other riders that are there. The other one, the second one is the environmental cost rider. That's a full cost rider, and that's been 3 to 4% tax since I've been with Aquafil for 16 years. And then there's a PCA rider, which is the power cost adjustment. The power cost adjustment is if we have set rates, if the city has to pay more like they did in 2022, that PCA will go up, and everybody, because they can't lose money on what they're buying, so they pass it on to their customers. If they're paying less, they also pass that savings on to their customers. Currently, we're paying less, which is contradictory of what we're seeing. We're getting a discount on the power cost adjustment, but we're paying so much more on the FCC rider. So when you look at it, we're running at a rate of about 80 to 85% capacity. If we expand this out with the FCC rider staying where it's at, we're going to pay $1 million extra in that tax on that bill on top of any electrical cost movements. And it affects our competitiveness. I mean, like I had mentioned, we're in a commodity business. So the only move that we have to make is to cut people. So if costs go up and the market is moving down, we have no other option other than to cut. And that's not what we want to do. We've been here for 25 years. We have over 300 employees here in Cartersville. It's really impacting our business. And just to close, we've been a partner with the city for the last 25 years. Aquafil USA has been here for 25 years. It's grown substantially over those 25 years by several 100%. We've been a sponsor of the community. We sponsor the city schools. We started the National Honor Society program at the elementary school. We funded the STEM lab at the elementary school. Just the past year, we sponsored the audiovisual room at the high school. We do multiple local food drives. Our employees are active in the community. We need to get the electrical rates under control and tracking where the rest of the Southeast is tracking. So again, thank you for your time. We want to be here for another 25 years. We appreciate your time and listening to what we have to say. I don't know if my boss has any comment. This is proper.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor, Council, and Council. Well, I represent the 25 years, right? I started this business 25 years ago myself.
If you would, state your name and your address.
Franco, F-R-E-N-C-O, Rossi, R-O-S-S-I. And the address is the same as Mr. Burrell. Thank you. So I was saying that I represent physically the 25 years. I started the company 25 years ago myself. We've been a loyal citizen of this community for so long. And we would like to be as for the next 25 years, probably somebody else, not me. But certainly, I mean, we are confronted with a very serious issue. But as you well know, we have no chance to change provider. The provider is the City of Cartersville Electric. It's a monopoly. We cannot decide to go anywhere else. So we expect the service to be at market price. Market, it was drive everything in our business and in so many other businesses. We cannot afford to pay $1 million more every year of what we should. So please consider what I just said. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. Do we have any discussion?
Well, Mr. Mayor, Pro Tem, and members of the council, obviously I have brought this to your attention and I am working on this. I appreciate the additional information, Mr. Robello and Mr. Frossa. Again, I will keep in touch with you. I do plan on working through, as I mentioned, we will have a new electric director here in the next month or two. Plan on getting him up to speed and working through this process as I share with members, Mayor and Council, the rate riders. We're going to look at that. We're going to look at this holistically going forward. It's going to take us realistically 5 to 6 months. I mean, it could be sooner, but I don't want to just put something out there without having facts behind it to justify everything that goes behind that. I understand your concerns, and I seriously, we will look at that, and I'll be back in touch with you.
Anyone else? Thank you. Is there anything else coming from the council tonight? Seeing none, motion to adjourn.
So moved. Go Canes.